Talkin Live Classics TV. We have all the classic movies and TV from the golden age of Hollywood 24/7, including Saturdays for your kids. You will be reliving the morning TV you grew up with. Also watch Talkin Live Classics TV anytime on our Roku channel.
Hello world, this is Talkin Live. One, we're on. Hey, everybody, we want you to not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Talkin Live. TalkinLive. Okay, so today we got this subject of called right and wrong, and we have the Constitution here, and then we have the Ten Commandments. I have a picture of Donald Trump. Well, no, not Donald Trump. That's gonna come later. But I have a picture of Jesus with Joe Biden and all his not all of his administration, with horns. And I have it, and I was going to put it up on a billboard, and they told me I couldn't do that. They said I couldn't do that because, it was offensive, or we didn't know that Joe Biden was an antichrist for sure. but according to the Word of God in the Bible, it says if you are a Christian, then you are a friend of Jesus Christ. Well, now, if you're a murderer like Joe Biden and babies, and you're you put our soldiers at risk, you try to starve our people to death in America and take care of someone else. How many little babies out there has went hungry on account of this border issue? How many families is right now can't even get a check started? They worked here all their life, and they can't get Medicare. But you're bringing millions of people across the border, and they qualify. And I done a show on this. And ABC cut me off about it. I mean, and I was told not to mention any affiliates, that I'm on. But the point is, we're talking about freedom. We're talking about our country that was founded on freedom, man. Our country was founded on the Bible and freedom, see? And we have laws that pertain to the Ten Commandments, but we also have laws that men here, politicians, have created to hurt the American people. If you ever watched that show that I did with Abraham Lincoln, and I've said this before, when I asked Abraham Lincoln, it was documented from what Abraham Lincoln said. Abraham Lincoln, in this AI that we did, said that tax dollars was created for the welfare of our country, for our defense, for the people that build this country, for the people that come over here and become true Americans. See, that's what the Constitution is about. Free speech. It don't bother me a bit if you tell me you're going along with Joe Biden. It don't bother me a bit, except one thing. It tells me you don't believe in right and wrong. Joe Biden's wrong. And for a billboard company to tell me I can't put it up, and I would tell the name of it, but and I told them I'm going to talk to the owner, the president, or whatever. They don't let me. Oh, it's our rules. Our rules say, Lamar, you can't put nothing up on a billboard because we think it's offensive. You can't give your opinion to the whole world because it's against our rules. In other words, they're saying you can't give your opinion because you're under rule of our government. Basically, that's what we are. We are under the rule of our freedom to say what they say is okay. I mean, what does it take a rocket scientist to realize what Joe Biden has done to this country and his administration? I mean, John Kerry can fly a jet around all over the place and say, Marjorie Greene's against all this stuff. And I invited her on my show. She hadn't ever got back with me. But Marjorie Greene, we agree on the same thing. They can do it. The Democrats can go out there. And I ain't talking about all Democrats. I mean, some people are Democrats because mama was a Democrat, or daddy was Democrat, or sister or brother was Democrat. We don't choose our party because the color of the skin or the race of the that's not what America was built on. America was built on the choosing and the voting of people that believed in freedom. AOC, she don't believe in freedom. And she's a bartender. She wrote this Green New Deal. And now they're saying you can't they're going to stop manufacturing gas stoves. Well, I mean, what if they started telling you can't go nowhere because you got a gas car? If they can tell you what you can cook with, then they can tell you where you can go and how you can go, and they can dominate you all the way through. Telling you, when they begin to tell you you can't run a lawnmower, you can't run a weed eater if it's gas and all that, that's communism. You have to abide by their rules. And I said it on the last show, Obama, he bought him a house on the beach, but yet we're in a situation where the world and it's going to be flooded again. But I got news for you. The Bible said this world will never be flooded again. He left that rainbow as a promise. And see, I don't go by what politicians say without the right. And well, you got some good politicians. And this border thing, just out of hand. It's done gone crazy. And the people that have worked themselves to death all their lives, and these couples, and worked 2 jobs and trying to survive and try to pay the bills and all that, and you tell them they can't be qualified for Medicare or Medicare. You send them a letter, tell them that, we're going to have to cut your Social Security because you ain't qualified. Well, I worked for 25, 30, 100 years. Oh, well, let's say not 100 years, but I worked for 60 years, and I paid in Social Security, I paid in tax. Well, you're not qualified. Nah, you got to let these people cross the border and take care of them. Oh, you can't give it. My sister was dying with cancer, 84-year-old. And I'll tell you a story about Spectrum. Spectrum cut her phone off, and her bill had been paid, and they still argued. I said, That's my sister. She needs a phone. They still cut her phone off. That's the kind of company you are, Spectrum. That's the kind of company you are. You are outpricing your cable. You're all overpricing. You tell, oh, you're going to get this great deal for $39.95 a month. And I got 2 houses with Spectrum that I pay every month. It started out $150, now it's $250 for each house. You know, and old people, you want to have some kind of special plan for elderly people, Spectrum. You got plenty of money. You should have a little thought about the elderly that's living on a fixed income and donating part of their taxes over to the immigrants. You should have a little respect for them. Days coming, you're going to wish that you'd have been a little nicer. People get, you know, I know today people don't get tired of nothing like they used to. They sit back and say, I can't do nothing about it. What am I going to do? Well, I ain't going to say nothing because my voice ain't worth nothing anymore. That's where you sit back. A guy in Nashville told me, well, no, he was in, he said I wasn't supposed to wipe my nose. It's my nose if I want to wipe it. See, they want to tell you how to wipe your nose up in Massachusetts. And Obama bought him a house on the beach, $10 million, knowing all the time that all this water, all this ice is going to melt and it's going to flood his house. Knowing all the time that. I tell you what, it gets to the point that I just think everything's just the funniest thing I ever heard in my life. Yeah, well, you can't run a gas stove now. Well, how about them air conditioners that are not gas? And they have that, what is it, C4? And when you open them up, it runs out and it destroys the whole universe. It ain't just the car, it's cows farting, and it's awful the way that this world's going to hell in a handbasket, and we got saviors coming in to save us all. Yeah, I know it's carbon. Well, C4, yeah, it's explosive. But I'm thinking about it. I used to sell the gas out of these air conditioners and refrigerators and all this stuff. They all have it to keep things cold and all that. It's R2. That's what it is. See, I've been dealing in recycling for a long time, and I know what comes. It's just sometimes I get confused. It's so much of a mess, I don't know which way to go with it. But I mean, here we are. The oceans are going to rise, and all these big-time people are building those houses on the intercoastal, and all the ocean's going to rise. And I don't deny that there's an issue with the air and the pollution. I don't deny that. But see, there's more room up in the air and in the atmosphere for those gases. But you know, when it comes a storm and it comes hurricanes, it takes all that stuff away from my area. That see, God built this world to take care of itself. And, you know, of course, men are, and companies are just polluting the oceans, polluting, that plastic and all that stuff. All that's going away. It's cheaper to make plastic as glass. Glass comes out of sand. You make glass out of sand. So I think it would be better, but it's cheaper and it's more money for everybody. So, we're going to be eating $100 bills while we're smothering to death, or will we dying for water or food? Which is it? I mean, you can't eat money. It's not nutrition. It's not nutritious to you to eat money, and that's why all these companies, they look for the money. And, you know, we have Microsoft and all these other companies. They make the, you know, they make, and all these like the cell phones and everything. They're making all these batteries, and you know, and I look at the medicine and all that stuff, you know, and they're worried about the atmosphere, and we got fentanyl coming across the border. We got drug dealers and bringing all this fentanyl in this country, and they're worried about the atmosphere and the air we breathe. I breathe pretty good here. I am in Georgia. You know, I go to Florida. You know, I used to. I don't go no more. Most every place that I've been, I breathe pretty good. And I've been a lot of places. I've been to South America. That was great. I've been to Canada now. There's some real good fresh air up there. That's the next thing that's coming. Biden's going to have fresh air bottled up, and you're going to have to pay for it. You're already paying for it right now, that fresh air you breathe. It's just these solar panels. I got an email or a text, 16,000 solar panels wanting me to recycle them. Well, they didn't even plan a way to do that. They just made them. So a lot of times they wind up in the landfill. You got 80% glass, you got 20% maybe electronics and aluminum on it. But they wind up in a landfill. They manufacture things and they don't have no idea when they all wires down that you have to dispose of it. They have no plans for disposing of it. But they got plans how to save the atmosphere and our breathing. Because we're going to all be dead in 10 years. Well, if the ocean's going to all melt down and if we're going to all be dead in 10 years, you know, I remember a guy named Gore said we was going to be dead years ago. The atmosphere got that big hole in the ozone, and we're going to all fry like pancakes or bacon. I mean, I remember all this stuff. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick to make money. That's all it is. These electric cars, that's fine. These electric tools, you know, your cell phone, that's good. If you can charge it up and keep it and use it, that's fine. But when it gets down to power and industrial power, oil and gas is the only thing that's going to be able to back us up when it turns cold. Now you got these windmills out there turning and killing whales and doing destruction, and I mean, and then you tell me Joe Biden ain't the devil? He's trying to turn us over to the Chinese and the Koreans, and I got friends who are Chinese and Koreans. Taiwan, Vietnam. They're just taking advantage of what we opened the door for them to do. They got land, they buy land up, they do what they want to, they come in this country with all their big dollars, and can we say something bad about them? Well, if they wasn't communists, that would be different. But they're trying to destroy us, so why do you let them come in? AOC, she's from Puerto Rico, and I used to be married to a Puerto Rican woman, so don't say I'm racist. Well, I mean, she believes that we're supposed to open all the borders and turn this country. And you got that from Somalia. she's straightening this country out, but she got left a country where they're a hellhole, or like Donald Trump said, nothing but a hellhole. They're coming over here, and they're going to straighten America out, and they can't even straighten their own country out. We got Sanders in the Senate over there. He's communist. He's been communist for all the time he's been in office, and you idiots up there in Washington, you turn around and let a communist come in your Senate, you let they go. If you are a communist, you don't belong in the government. This is supposed to be a free country. It ain't supposed to be free to communists to come in here and take over. J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI, would have never allowed what's going on right now. He would have never allowed it. But see, we got these, and you know, these drug dealers come across the border, and that's right, cartel, you know, you're killing innocent people just for $1, and that dollar is going to be gone one day, and you're going to have to answer for it. Little children getting a hold of it, dying, all this kind of stuff. You're going to answer for that one of these days. You come here and blow my head off, but it still be the same. And you know good and well that you're hurting the human race just for $1. Just to make $1, I mean, just to have a little money. And that's what it's about with this solar energy. It's all about the dollar. I mean, it's froze out. It's cold. It gets cold here. It got down in the teens, in a single digit. And you got 1 million people in this area or more. And do you actually think that these panels will provide the electricity for homes, all these homes? It's impossible. You can't, right now, you can't even supply, when it gets too cold, you can't even supply enough electricity with the gas and the nuclear and all that stuff. We got a nuclear plant right up the road from us. We got one another down in Huntsville, Alabama. And you can't supply enough electricity. And so Donald Trump can see that, but most of it can't. All these, you can have fields and fields and fields, acres and acres and acres of solar panel, but you let it come a hailstorm, and I guarantee you, are you going to freeze to death till you get the others back in? Is that what you're going to do? See, that's what happened out when last winter. All those all these solar panels that got. See, if they get dusty, they still won't work. You have to clean them too. And all these windmills froze up. See, you don't even really know about. You just listen to what maybe Biden says. But see, Jesus, I put him on that post of that billboard. He is the most famous man that ever lived, the most greatest, the most holy, the most righteous. And he was telling to me, I put that up there, and I pointed out what an antichrist is. It is a person that don't acknowledge God, don't acknowledge Jesus Christ. That is one that does stuff like that. They are antichrists. And the billboard company told me, how do you know? I said, because the Bible said that he's an antichrist. And he is. He said, you're for me or you're against me. Thou shalt not kill, but it's all right to kill babies. That's what he said. Did he say that? No, he said, thou shalt not kill. There ain't no justified. You can't be justified for what you're doing. Killing babies, you can't justify that. It's murder. You can't. And that's what the Ten Commandments is all about. Thou shalt not kill. It's all about, our country is all about the Constitution, how it was wrote up, because those forefathers that we have, they got together and they figured all they could that they knowed would come against our freedom. And they wrote that Constitution. And God knowed, Jesus knowed about America and the whole world, and he wrote the New Testament. The apostles wrote the New Testament because they seen it. Because by the Holy Ghost, they seen the future through the apostles, and they wrote it in that New Testament, King James Version. Well, I know you're going to come up and say one thing means this, one thing that, this means that, and this means that because it's in the Greek or it's in the English, blah, 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 blah. But when I read it, just as plain as I can read it, and when it says thou shalt not kill, then I figure there's no other way that I can get out of answering for it. If I take a little innocent babies, if I vote, or if I was a doctor, or if I was a woman, that's murder. I don't care what nobody says. And that's where Jesus is pointing at Joe Biden with his horns and all his administration horns. And it said the Antichrist is here. Well, he was here when Paul and Peter was preaching the gospel. He said it was already there. But back then, he was there. But today, there's more of them. A guy told me one time, I said, it's going to get wickeder and wickeder. He said, no, it ain't going to get more wickeder. It's just going to be more of them. And so that's what you see today. No feelings, no heart, no love, no kindness, no humbleness, no all. And remember what that Bible said too? He shall set himself up in God's temple, saying he is God and he is above God. Okay, so remember what Jesus said? Ye are the temple. What temple shall you build me? This is the temple. The devil lives here or Jesus lives here. God bless you.